Hello friends. This is Fiction Quest. How are you all? So in this video, we will see, what if Naruto awakened the power of One Piece and got Harem? But before we start, if you want more amazing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also if possible share this video with your friends. Now without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. The sound of ocean waves reached the ears of anyone in Fuchsia village, which many smiled at the sound. One day when a teenager boy reached the age of 17, a crowd formed at the harbor of Fuchsia village. There were a mixture of cheering, hissing, and murmurs, but the boy didn't seem to mind. He stood atop a small boat, waving to the small town before yelling, "Bye, guys, I'm going to become the Pirate King." The cheering intensified, making the murmurs and hissing quiet down. And with that, the boy sailed off for his journey. Meanwhile, this boy is forever banished. Many cheers erupted from the crowd of cruel villagers who wanted to either execute or exile an innocent teenager. Said teenager was distraught that he couldn't live a normal shinobi life. A life where he could be treated normally. "Why would you do this? I defeated pain and saved." The teenager was cut off by a fat, ugly shopkeeper. "Shut up. You're the reason that the Kyuubi almost ended the village again. You're the reason that the whole village is in danger. All because you're here. It was you that they were after. You deserve this. You're taking advantage of Ba-chan's coma and my injuries," the teenager cried out. "Damn right we are. Now get out, before we make you. Everyone's in the hospital. No one can help me. I'm all alone," the teen thought. Turning back once more, his eyes were blood red, glowing as his bangs shadowed his eyes. His whisker-like birthmarks deepened in color, then his nails grew sharper than a chakra blade. He then let out ki, killing intent, enforced with the Kyuubi's chakra, and then said. Kyuubi stood amongst many dead bodies, smirking as he was satisfied with the horrified faces of the dead civilians. As he turned to the gate, the chakra he let out started to rise up to the sky, circling around, dragging the clouds with the flow. "What the hell?" Kyuubi mumbled as he stared at the sky. The chakra storm started growing in size, pulling trees out of the ground and random scraps of trash as if it was a twister. Then the twister started to kick off the ground, becoming a wormhole. As it became stronger, it started to drag in Kyuubi, who was stunned and blinking many times. "Okay. Because of my stupidity, I opened a wormhole. That possibly leads to another dimension," he said to himself, "and now I can't escape 'cause I didn't do anything before I got dragged in. Damn." Inside the teenager's mind, "What the hell did you just freaking do, Kurama?" the teenager exclaimed. "Like I said, I might have just created a wormhole." How the hell should I know, Naruto? I didn't know this would happen," the now named Kurama sighed nonchalantly. The newly identified teenager, Naruto, grumbled and sighed. "Well, what are we gonna do then, Kurama? We'll just have to wait because I don't know what to do. In all my years of living, I've never experienced this," Kurama answered. "Oh well. At least let me take over then, fine by me." Thus, Naruto then took over, blinking as he was. Shot into the sky then quickly descending. Shee. Huh. Is that a red whirlpool? Cool, wait. I saw something shoot out of it with mysterious red aura floating around, even cooler. Shee. Arg. So Naruto found himself on a raft with his face hurting very much and wet because the impact sent salt water flying everywhere. Damn it, Kurama. Where the hell is this? Like I said, we are apparently in another dimension, Kurama responded inside Naruto's mind. Hey, are you an alien? Huh? No, Naruto responded, confused. Oh, well. I'm just gonna hide in one of the barrels 'cause there's a whirlpool and I can't survive in the sea, the stranger responded. A whirlpool? Where in the no, dimensions did you send me, Kurama? If you're wondering, this is the East Blue, said the stranger, his voice muffled once inside the unusually large barrel. Never heard of it. Anyway, can I go inside one of your barrels? I see no other place where I can take cover, so, trailed off Naruto. Sure thing. I don't see why not, chirped the stranger. Thanks. By the way, what's your name? Inquired Naruto. My name's Monkey D. Luffy, nice to meet ya, let's become the bestest buddies. Koby. Who's the most beautiful woman of the seas? Yua or Alvvvda-sama, replied the now identified boy, Koby. Good. Now go to that ship and help the others steal all the valuable items, ordered the fat woman, looking smug. But I'm not good at, go, you brat. Ah! Screamed Koby, who ran away before he was nearly squished under Alvida-sama's iron mace, which was covered in spikes. So Koby quickly scurried toward the cruise ship, not wanting to meet the iron mace to the face. He then jumped off the pirate ship to join the raid with the rest of the crew. He landed rather loudly on the ship, the sound echoing because of the impact of his face smacking the wall. Then he ran for his life. By the time he couldn't see Alvida anymore, he spotted 2 large barrels, which were rolling along in kitchen. Huh. I wonder if the crew would like something to drink. He mumbled, staring at the 2 barrels settling ever so innocently in the corner of the room after having stopped rolling. Just as Koby was about to lift the barrels upright, he heard voices and footsteps approaching the kitchen. A group of the Alvida pirates came shuffling in before they spotted Koby standing there. Just standing. So they assumed he was concealing himself, away from all of the commotion. Hey, Koby. Are you sitting out of the raiding again? One of them shouted. No, I'm not. I was just trying to get these barrels back to the ship, he stuttered. Hey, are you guys thirsty? One questioned. Yeah. How about we lighten your load, Koby? Inquired a beefy-looking man, cracking his knuckles. But these are F4. They all ignored him and let the beefy-looking man get ready to open the barrels. However, that was a great nap, a mystery person yelled out, stretching once out of one of the unusually large barrels, which resulted accidentally punching the beefy-looking man. Arg! Cried the beefy-looking man. What the hell? Yelled the others. Oh oi, Luffy, you're gonna hurt someone. Okay, well, you already hurt someone accidentally, sighed a blonde teen who came out of one of the 2 barrels who looked tired and wiped his mouth free of something that looked suspiciously like vomit. Who are you? Growled one of the Alvida pirates. Never mind that. Attack him, and him, screamed another. He took his sword out of its sheath and ran towards the stranger. Oh, no, he's gonna die for sure, thought Koby, closing his eyes, ready to hear screams of pain. But he heard nothing of that sort and opened his eyes in confusion. Wah, what are you? Monster. Wah. Instead, he saw a broken blade and cowering pirates against a teenager who looked confused, and another. Luffy, don't make them pee. You're gonna make them stink up the place. Wherever this is, grumbled the blonde. But I did nothing. They attacked me. Naruto, the newly named, Luffy, replied. Just don't do anything to make them pee, replied Naruto. Whatever. Luffy turned to Koby and the frightened pirates and said, Hi, my name is Monkey D. Luffy and I ate the. I don't know what the name of the devil fruit. Aad devil fruit. Yelped the Alvida pirates. Then they turned to Naruto and asked, who are you? Naruto sighed. I thought Luffy already screamed it out loud. Do I really have to say it? Whined Naruto. Just say it or else. At this time, Koby lost track of the conversation. Wait. Why were you in the barrels? I don't understand that, questioned Koby. Questions, questions, questions. So many questions, chanted Luffy. Naruto piped up and said, you see, it was like this. Flashback. After Naruto received permission to go into a barrel, yes, permission to get into a barrel, he walked toward the one he deemed to be safest. Wow, a whirlpool. Never thought I'd be stuck in one soon, Naruto muttered. But you are, Kit. Oh, and you better get in the barrel, warned Kurama. And so he opened the barrel's top and crawled inside. Ooh, we're really close to the whirlpool now, said Luffy in a sing-song voice. Oof. Why are whirlpools so violent? And that's about it, Naruto exclaimed. No one said anything except Luffy. Oh, man. I'm hungry. Noticed Luffy. What's your name, pink hair? I'm Koby. Koby whimpered in fear. Okay, Koby. Show me the way to food, yelled Luffy. And thus, Koby led the duo to the way to the storage place when he was exploring the kitchen. Food, food, foodie food, Luffy sang. Luffy, pipe down, will ya? You might attract attention, warned Naruto. Here we are, stammered Koby nervously. Luffy gasped. For a moment, Naruto thought that Koby lead them to a trap. No, he wouldn't do that. I'm a shinobi and I would know if he was lying or planning something suspicious. Besides, Luffy is probably startled by how much food there is in the storage. That's why he gasped. Wow! There's so much food, Luffy yelped with joy as he looked around. Knew it. However, Koby was thinking something similar. He stayed silent, not knowing if he should warn Alvida about the mysterious duo. But then I would be more of a pirate than a marine. Not that I am one, Koby corrected himself. Luffy was already jumping to each crate, chomping and munching, drooling and tasting. Naruto shook his head, amused. But then Naruto noticed something. Pink hair seems troubled. Not a characteristic I would expect from a pirate. Yo, Pinky. Naruto called out, however, interrupted. It's Koby, corrected Koby, annoyed by the nickname. No, what if I made him mad? He'll definitely beat me up. Koby's thoughts were halted as something hit his head. What the hell, Luffy? You guys should eat. Definitely you, Naruto, Luffy chided. Koby looked at the ground and saw 2 red apples rolling away from each other. Apples? Thought Koby curiously. You should have warned us first before you threw those damn apples, raged Naruto, who was clearly annoyed. But you look so skinny, Luffy whined. That's a weak excuse. Look at yourself, scoffed Naruto. Koby stared at the both of them, head whipping right to left as the 2 strangers argued. Well, one of them gives weak excuses while the other snaps angrily. Koby decides to warn them of the danger of being loud when Alvida is near. Why you guys shouldn't fight? What if AALVV? Koby shudders at the name, clearly scared just saying the name. He continues his warning. Vivid hears us? Nah, he wouldn't hurt me. Alvida is a guy, right? Naruto asked nonchalantly. Koby gasped. Hey, what's your problem with this Alvida guy, huh? Asked Luffy curiously, chewing on an apple core. Why you guys don't know who Alvida is? She's the most cruelest, ugliest, and scariest of this part of East Blue, exclaimed Koby. CRRRAASHHH, Koby. Just who's the most cruelest, ugliest, and scariest in this part of the East Blue? I hope you're not talking about me. Especially the ugliest, PA-ARRRT. A voice seethed and growled. Smoke was kicking up and spreading. ALLVDD-S Sam Ma, Koby stammered. Luffy and Naruto were staring into the smoke and debris. Until they saw a dwarf planet. They broke into laughter. PPPHHHTTTTTT. Fa ha 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 ha. That can't seriously be the scary and cruelest in. Well, yes, ugliest. Definitely the ugliest. Fa ah ha 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 ha. Naruto roared with laughter. Shishishi sha ha 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 shishishi. A dwarf planet. He was so heavy that he fell through the F-floor. Luffy choked and laughed. Why you shouldn't L. Koby tried warning the duo but was cut off. Koby. Answer me. The voice grew more angrier by the second. AALV vid da. Why you're THM most, Koby stammered. Kid, just voice out your thoughts. If a marine saw you praising this dwarf planet thing, you'd never be a marine then, a voice growled and persuaded. Ugliest and fattest hag ever, roared Koby confidently. Alvida stood in shock, then hissed, You dare to insult me? Prepare to lose your head, Koby. Alvida swung her iron mace toward Koby, aiming to bash his skull through the wall. Koby shrieked and made a feeble attempt to duck, but then. Ting! Koby looked up from crouching and saw Luffy blocking the hit. Wah! Koby gasped. However, before Luffy could beat her to death, Naruto punched her multiple times but did not kill her. Naruto stopped. Alvida lay unconscious on the floor. Luffy blinked. Koby didn't move. What? The dwarf planet was a woman? Asked Luffy confused. Then laughed, Hey. More like, woman, shishishishi. Ha. So strong. Muttered Koby as he stared at Luffy and Naruto. So, Koby. Naruto spoke after a while. Koby yelped in reply. You seemed very troubled. Now I know why. You weren't trying to be a pirate, but rather they forced you. Naruto smirked. Luffy snickered. How did you know? Koby gasped, embarrassed. Naruto hummed, not replying properly. Nyan Cat sang happily. The three new friends were together on the deck, Alvida laying tied up on the floor behind them. The other pirates had jumped ship after seeing their defeated captain. Koby was steering the ship toward an island not far off. Hey, since we'll be keeping this ship, at least for a while, we should repaint the sails, shouldn't we? Asked Naruto. Yes. I want to do it, Luffy replied. He jumped up onto the mast and tore off the gaudy mark of the Alvida pirates. He fluttered down to the floor and yanked out a replacement sail from nowhere. Hey, where'd that sail come from? Koby inquired. From nowhere, now shut up while I work, Luffy responded while pulling out a mass variety of paints, also from nowhere. Hey, I see that open crate behind you. Stop trying to act all mysterious, Naruto rebuked. Shishi. Luffy laughed as he opened the paint bottles. He then dipped a huge brush into the black paint and smeared a huge line onto the formerly blank sail. He continued to paint while the other two watched. Luffy held up the now completed sail. So what do you think? The sail was covered in blotched and blurry lines forming a shaky skull with a lopsided straw hat on its head. Now it's a Jolly Roger. Naruto just stared for a moment, then he burst out laughing. Koby stood there dumbfounded. It's a very nice attempt, Luffy-san, Koby finally managed to say. It's ridiculous. Naruto kept laughing. Well, whatever, I'm the captain, so I get to choose what the sail looks like. Luffy climbed to the mast again and hung his new creation proudly. Hey, since when are you the captain? Naruto asked. Since I called it. Hey, that's not fair, too late, you can be my first mate. I heard Zoro is very strong person so he's gonna join my crew, too. He's around here somewhere on this island, Luffy thought. Hey, we're here. Koby interrupted their argument by announcing that they had landed. Really? Awesome. Luffy leapt from the deck with Alvida's bound form held securely by the rope. Ah, fine, Naruto relented and followed his friend off the ship. Hey, wait for me. Koby tied the ship to the dock and ran behind them, catching up slowly. So where is the Marine's base? Naruto questioned Luffy. Luffy ignored Naruto and instead focused his attention to a restaurant that emitted the smell of heavenly meat. Let's go there. He ran off, not bothering to see if the other two were following him. Hey, we still have to turn this thing in. Naruto shouted at Luffy while waving the loose end of the rope. Seeing that he wasn't listening, Naruto gave up. Well, whatever. I'll do it on my own. That idiot will need to pay off the bills somehow, and I know that he doesn't have any money on him. With that said, Naruto walked further into the town, dragging Alvida, still knocked out, on the ground behind him, leaving a noticeable trail on the floor where she displaced the dirt. Koby hesitated before choosing to follow Naruto, wanting to see the marine base more than eating. More, please. Luffy ate yet another bowl of food, the dishes piled up next to him as he finished them. The lady came by with his order, putting it in the only place not taken up by the empty bowls, which was right in front of Luffy. Thanks, he said before diving straight back into eating, small splatters of food splashing out as he messily ate. The lady hurriedly fled from the voracious customer. The other patrons of the restaurant watched in awe as Luffy downed the bowl in less than 20 seconds. That was good, he sighed happily, patting his distended stomach. Hey, Luffy, you idiot, how do you plan to pay for all that? It was Naruto, who had returned from the base. Oh hey, where were you? Luffy asked as he stuffed his mouth. Nowhere, you know. Just turning in Alvida so that we could have some money. It's not like money is as important as you eating, Naruto replied sarcastically. Really? Good for you. Well, I'm done. Hey, Naruto, you can pay now. We can go explore the island. Naruto's right eye twitched. Heh. Yeah, good for you. Since you seem to think that eating really was more important than getting money, you can find a way to pay for yourself. Without waiting for Luffy to respond, Naruto left. Realizing his mistake, Luffy panicked and yelled, wait, Naruto. I can't pay on my own. TCH, that annoying bastard. Naruto ignored Luffy's wails for him and walked with Koby trailing behind him. Shouldn't you help him? Koby inquired worriedly. Nah, he can help himself. Hey, watch it. There was an odd-looking guy stumbling to catch his footing in front of him. Naruto had bumped into him lightly, but it seemed that it was enough to make him trip. The man in question had blonde hair weirdly curling, like a mushroom, at the side of his head, which was oddly shaped as well. A group of Marines stood in formation behind him. Who are you? And what's with your hair? What do you mean? My hair is perfectly fine. See how it curls majestically. The pompous prick fed his puffy hair proudly. I am Helmeppo, the son of Axe-Hand Morgan. Bow before me and I won't have you killed. Naruto stared at him blankly. Right. I'm leaving now. He made to walk past him, but two of the Marines behind Helmeppo grabbed his arms. It would be so easy to blast these idiots with my Rasengan, too bad. Wait. Kurama, you made me bloodthirsty. Naruto roared in his mind. He began to quake in comical rage. Helmeppo saw him shaking and assumed that he was afraid. He then pompously scoffed, this idiot is such an idiot. Naru stopped, then punched Helmeppo. Helmeppo stood in shock. I don't care, Mr. Hippo. You can't hurt me, you damn spoiled bastard. Rage filled Helmeppo's eyes. He raised his ugly hands and missed when he tried to slap him. He ignored the fact that he missed and said, oh, really? Let's see about that. He turned and stalked back toward the Marine base. Naruto stuck his tongue out at the retreating figure. Ma, he has no power over me. Let's go, Koby. They walked together, side by side, and passed a house in which a rather loud conversation was taking place. How could you bring yourself to write such embarrassing stuff? Please stop. Please give those back, they belong to me. Shut up. They're addressed to me, so they're mine. Really, if you wrote all these letters, why didn't you send them out? Because if I got in contact with you, I'd want to come straight home. Then you should have thrown them away. Your name is on them. I couldn't throw them away. What the hell? Never mind that. Please just give them back. I'll throw them away now. No. These belong to me. The yelling quieted down. Naruto and Koby looked at each other, shrugged, and continued walking with no set direction in mind. The duo passed a tree where 1.5 people lay under its branches, 1.5 because one was part cat. Kitty Seal curled up against Sebastian's side, seeking warmth. Sebastian cooed at the cuteness, ruffling the hair between the two perked-up kitty ears. Master, you're so cute, I just want to play with you all day. Seal purred happily. Grell stood in the background. What about me? Sebastian sent a full-fledged glare at him. Go away. You are interrupting my master's rest. Again, Naruto and Koby disregarded the oddness and continued on their way. A little while later, they heard the clink of metal from overhead. Sophie, where is my cloak? A male voice yelled out from the flying contraption of metal. A female voice called back, you left it draped on the back of the armchair. Ah, found it. Thank you, Sophie, the man replied. The door to the odd contraption opened and a black-haired man stepped out. Literally out. Like dropped from the flying castle into open air. He was okay, though, because he grew wings and easily caught himself. Then Naruto and Koby passed yet another house with a strange conversation. Usagi-san. Let's go there, Ritsu said we have to go back in an hour. We have time, right? Masaki pleaded. Usagi-san chuckled. Sure, Masaki, but you have to do something for me. Masaki blinked up at him. What? Usagi-san slid an arm around his waist, pulling him against his side firmly. When we go back to our room, we... Usagi-san. They looked at each other with confusion, then continued on unsurely. Ma, all these people here are weird. Naruto sighed as he put his arms on the back of his head for support. Why you shouldn't judge them, Naruto-san, Koby chided nervously as he was looking around. I'm just voicing out my opie. Hey, what's that little girl doing there? Naruto questioned, pointing at a child climbing a ladder over the walls of the base of the Marines. Koby gasped. Forgetting Naruto's rude remark, he then said worriedly, that's dangerous. What if there are killer criminals there? But Naruto paid him no mind. He focused his eyes on the ladder, and he said, Koby, I'm going over there. What? Even if you're strong, that's dangerous, exclaimed Koby. Naruto smirked and chuckled. What, it looks fun, so I'm gonna go over there and you're not gonna stop me. And with that, Naruto ran over to the ladder, because no one was a ninja here, he didn't run very fast, and climbed. Koby pursed his lips and looked at the ladder hesitantly. He whimpered, wait, Naruto-san. Get out of here, or else I'll kill you, a person threatened while he was tied to a wooden cross. Yes, a cross, with splintered ropes. I don't think you can while you're tied up, Luffy snickered. The man tied up growled. By the way, are you Roronoa Zoro? Luffy looked at him curiously. So what if I am? The man, no, Zoro asked, glowering with malicious intent. Luffy grinned broadly. Join my crew. Silence. Huh? No way, I'm not gonna be some pirate. I have a goal, Zoro trailed off. Well, I reject, Luffy stated. What does that mean? Zoro scowled even more. It means I reject your rejection of joining my crew, Luffy said as he had a serious face on. You're not serious, Zoro scoffed disbelievingly. Luffy giggled, then paused. Hey, why are you even here? Zoro opened his mouth to reply, it's none of your business. However, he spotted a little girl. A very familiar little girl jumping down. Wah! Get out of here, Zoro growled. He was tired of the visitors. What, will there be some teen with some animal feature? Or a pink-haired child? He scoffed at the thought. Oi, little girl. Whatcha doing there? Wah, Luffy? Now what are you doing here? A voice called out. Zoro didn't even bother to look. Wait. Naruto-san. A more weaker voice yelled. This was getting on Zoro's nerves. He looked up. He twitched at the sight. What the hell? He thought. There jumped a teen with blonde hair and whisker marks on his cheeks. Another stumbled as he landed, with pink hair. But the little girl didn't pay them any mind. She ran up to Zoro and in her hands were. What? This isn't some party, an irritatingly familiar, bratty voice shrieked from afar. Naruto growled. Yes, it was Mr. It was Helmeppo, who was with many marine guards, stomping across the grounds, eyes looking at each one of them, but landed on one person. The idiot, the mushroom-haired guy, Helmeppo, hissed. They had a staring contest, but was interrupted. Oi, how long are you guys going to stand there? Luffy asked, picking his nose. Naruto sighed. God, Luffy, haven't you heard of drama? As they were conversing, the little girl snuck her way to Zoro, who was starving for days. In her hands were wrapped up onigiri, rice balls. She whispered, Here, you must be starving. Zoro, who thought it looked amazingly tasty, was reluctant to open his mouth and chew. Is it good? She asked quietly, eager to listen to what he thought. It's delicious, he said, embarrassed to compliment someone. Really? Wow. She celebrated loudly. Everyone turned their heads. Zoro noticed that they turned their heads and acted as nothing was wrong. The brat was helping the criminal. Throw her out. No, actually, throw all of them out, screeched Helmeppo. Naruto and Luffy scoffed, then said in unison, as if that can ever happen. However, the little girl and Koby wasn't so sure. Koby stammered, let's get out of here, Luffy-san, Naruto-san. And you, too. They stood still, not moving, signaling that they weren't going to retreat. Zoro felt helpless, not able to do anything because he promised that he would not die while being held captive in exchange of the safety of the people. Bam! Bam! Shots were being fired and smoke was kicking up from the missed shots. He gritted his teeth and spat, if only I had my swords. Unfortunately, Luffy and Naruto heard this. Luffy grinned and ignored the threats that Helmeppo and the Marines yelled. If I get your swords, you're gonna join my crew, and with that, Luffy took off without Zoro even being able to say a word. As Luffy ran towards the building, he quickly grabbed Helmeppo along the way. What are you doing? I demand you release me, he screeched as he struggled to get out of Luffy's vice grip. However, his shouts were quickly distinguished as Mr. Hippo's face met the bright, hot, cruel ground. His muscles became pained as his precious face was sliding along, leaving a trail of displaced dirt. Naruto said, I have no sense of direction, so I need you to guide me, Luffy cheerfully said, still dragging Mr. Hippo across the ground without letting him up. By then, his face was scratched up from the constant friction against rocks and pebbles and was bleeding slightly, trailing a small line of red behind them. All right. Let me up, this hurts, you know, Helmeppo screamed at him. Luffy let go of Mr. Hippo and allowed him to stand, but he quickly snatched his arm and continued to run rapidly. Hey, stop, I can't run that fast, I'll fall again, Helmeppo complained. Well then, what if I do this? Luffy ran as fast as he could, which made Mr. Hippo's feet leave the ground again, but this time, instead of falling, he was picked up by the momentum and flew behind Luffy as he continued running. Shishishi. This is so much faster, how fun. Stop, I'm gonna get sick. They passed all of the guarding marines with no trouble because of how fast they were moving and were able to enter the marine compound easily. Helmeppo gave Luffy directions to his room where he put the swords when he was no longer motion sick or in any danger of collapsing or throwing up. Luffy steadily followed his instructions and found the rather pink room in a short amount of time. Leaning on the wall with the window were 3 swords. Ma, which ones are Zoro's? All of them? Meh, I'll just take them all. Then I can't be wrong, Luffy declared. He snatched up the swords and turned to look at Helmeppo. Thanks for coming with me, Mr. Hippo. I need to get back to Zoro now. He jumped out the window, running in the direction that was, probably, where Zoro was tied up. I didn't come by choice, Helmeppo muttered. Hey, did he call me a hippo? Did he insult me? It turned out that Luffy had been going the right way. He saw Zoro still bound to the post and Naruto defending them both effortlessly from the rather pitiful attacks from the marines. Yo, what took so long? Naruto asked as he turned a bullet from its original path. Well, Mr. Hippo was taking so long to walk, so I pulled him, but then he started whining and I stopped. Then I just ran really quickly while holding him so we could go faster, but then he cried again, so I slowed down a little, and then I found the kitchen and ate a little bit of meat. Your definition of little or everyone else's? Naruto inquired in a bland tone while deflecting a sword with a kunai. Ma, it doesn't really matter, does it? I guess not. So, what are we going to do about this? I give Zoro his swords back. Which of them are yours, Zoro? You didn't tell me. They're all mine, those 3, replied Zoro, looking at the white-hilted katana most affectionately. Right. So I give him his swords, we beat them up, then we get out of here, Luffy ecstatically finished. You are an idiot, aren't you? You didn't plan anything at all. How do you expect us to escape unharmed if we recklessly go in to fight? Naruto reprimanded. You got anything better? Luffy challenged. Yup. See, I untie Zoro. He stabbed the knot holding the ropes bound tight. I grab both of you. He grasped both of their wrists, then I run. And Naruto took off running, the 2 other men scrambling to keep balance and run with him. It wasn't like the Marines would be able to keep up with them. They appeared to be physically weak, probably because this base was corrupt and didn't do anything they should have been doing, such as training. Standing to fight did not guarantee coming out unscathed, no matter how weak the opponents were. There was always a chance of a lucky shot, and with Zoro still physically deteriorated, there would be more openings for them than normal. They would have to be conscious of Zoro while defending themselves as well. With this reasoning, Naruto concluded that fleeing was the best option. Hey! Stop right there! The Marines shouted at them. Naruto didn't stop running. He jumped smoothly over the brick wall, passing the little girl and Koby who were hiding behind a tree nearby, and sped off hurriedly from the marine compound. The Marines hastened to follow. Luffy laughed happily as they fled, sticking his tongue at them and pulling an eyelid down. Zoro panted harshly, unused to the sudden exertion after starving for weeks. What is wrong with you guys? He wheezed. That was completely random. Wrong with us? Nothing's wrong with us, Luffy answered gleefully, still taunting the few Marines that were able to keep pace with them. Most of the Marines were unaccustomed to exercise as they only got their post through bribery or were incompetent newbies that were never trained properly, so they had no chance in catching up. Zoro gasped sharply as his lungs were overtaxed, but he was not going to give up running. That would show weakness. He was not weak. He couldn't be weak. The strongest swordsman should be able to withstand this. CL's kitty ears twitched. There was an ungodly amount of shouting getting louder as the source was coming closer. Seal was annoyed. He was having a good dream about running in a field of blood-stained flowers, chasing a mouse that he had half mauled already and was preparing to kill, but all of the noise woke him up right as he was going to swipe his sharp claws down to slice the mouse open, preventing him from taking his kill, even if it was only a dream. Seal raised his head from Sebastian's lap, where he had been resting it and having his hair petted, and saw the chase between the 3 men and the small group of Marines, which was the cause of all the noise. They were repeatedly and uselessly ordering the 3 men to stop. He growled. So they were the bastards that stole his kill from him. Seal turned his eyes toward Sebastian's and hissed, "Kill them." Sebastian stood and bowed. "Yes, my lord." He disappeared in a flash. A sudden scream of fright and pain drew attention to behind them. Naruto, Zoro, and Luffy stopped and looked back and saw a tall, black-haired man standing there with silver knives between his fingers, poised to throw them and strike a man down like he had just moments before. A Marine was lying on the floor with a knife jabbed between his eyes, going straight to his brain, which killed him. My, you made my master angry, you know. You interrupted his afternoon nap. It seems that he was having such a good dream too. It's a pity that all of you have to die now. Fair retribution for disturbing my master." Though he expressed regret, it didn't appear that the man truly felt any since he had such a wide smile on his face. He turned and took notice of the 3 that stood there. "Ah, and who are you?" "Master Seal didn't tell me to kill you, at least, not yet." Luffy stepped up. "We are the Straw Hat Pirates. I'm the captain, Luffy. This is my brother, Naruto, and a new member, Zoro." Zoro didn't protest as he was still trying to catch his breath. "Who are you?" "Fellow pirates, I haven't heard of you, though. You must be new. I am Sebastian Michaelis of the Phantom Cats. You better keep running before my master says to kill you, too. He's in a grouchy mood right now." The man, Sebastian, continued to throw his knives, hitting his marks perfectly. In no time at all, the Marines were dead and pooling blood. Turning back, he saw that the men had taken his advice and continued on. He smiled. He stalked over to the cooling corpses and withdrew the knives from the heads of the Marines. After wiping them clean and polishing them quickly, he stored them away for later use and returned to his master. "Is my little master happier now?" Sebastian cooed. Seal crawled back onto Sebastian's lap and curled up, purring contentedly and drifting back to sleep. Grell sulked far away at the sight, then he grudgingly walked away. The small crew of Straw Hat Pirates reached their boat. Zoro got on first, and Naruto was about to go as well, but Luffy questioned, "Hey, Naruto, what about the villagers? The Marines are terrorizing them. What are we going to do?" "Nothing." Naruto jumped up and landed on the deck, nonchalantly looking back. Luffy was shocked. "What? You can't be that mean to them. I know we didn't know them for that long, but they're still people. They have feelings. You can't just do nothing." Naruto shook his head. "We will do nothing because the problem will fix itself. Did you see that weird red-haired guy?" "Yeah, that was a guy. He had long hair and was clinging onto that man. What was his name?" "Ah, Sebastian." He's a highly ranked Marine officer. It seems that he was called in after someone was finally able to report the corruption to the higher Marine office. He'll fix the problems, so we don't have to worry about them. Now get in here and stop wasting time." "Ah, so they'll be okay. All right, I planned ahead. You really shouldn't doubt me, Luffy. You know, once we got Zoro out of the way, we could have gone back to beat them up, but that Sebastian guy already killed all of the stronger ones. There are no one else to fight except the weaker ones, but that's a waste of time. We may as well just keep going." "What about Captain Morgan? Can we fight him? Do you really want to?" I haven't fought in a while, and I want to test some of my powers, and he's a jerk." "You guys are insane." Zoro muttered. He was dead tired from his sprint from the center of the island to the outer edge, and he was feeling sleepy again. He nodded off before Naruto took one step out of the ship and was left behind as the 2 went back to the Marine base. All the weaklings were taken care of. Now it was time to beat down the boss. Naruto and Luffy went back to the base, where they found Captain Morgan ranting and raving at the physically incapable Marines. Just as he raised his axe hand, Luffy stepped in and blocked the incoming death blow. The useless Marines fled the scene into the base. "Now, that's not nice," chided Luffy. "If you're going to punish someone, you're supposed to throw them off a cliff, not kill them. My grandpa says that makes them stronger and teaches them not to do it again. Except I never learned. Imbecile. You must have hit your head one too many times, or maybe a lot more, when you were thrown. Most people would die if they fell from a tall height. Only special people would survive that, like devil's fruit users. Morgan trailed off, looking speculatively at Luffy. You have a devil's fruit power? He asked. Luffy beamed. Yup. I got it when I was 7. Shanks brought it and I accidentally ate it. He said I shouldn't have. Naruto snorted. That wasn't on accident. It was on the bar table and you snatched it up and ate it. That was by choice. Luffy waved a hand at him. Same thing. Shanks? Akagami Shanks of the Red Hair Pirates? One of the Yonko? Morgan questioned in shock. Yeah. Do you know him? Luffy responded. Grell was walking through the marine compound, sulking. That brat always got in his way. So what if he had silky soft hair, or cute paw pads, or an overall adorable kitten look? He was dressed in magnificent red clothes and had long tresses of crimson. He was the embodiment of the best color ever. So why was he overlooked for that cat brat? He sighed melodramatically as he opened the door to the rooftop. I guess it's time to get back to work, so a corrupt captain that doesn't do any right. Fix it no matter what, so get rid of him however you want. Alright, what is this? Oh. What a hideous statue. I'll tear it down. Grell laughed madly as he revved up his chainsaw and cut cleanly through the admittedly unappealing statue with ease. Then he laughed some more. Now, where is that idiot Morgan? RR rumble, kraash. What the hell was that? Naruto shouted out as the thunder-like rumbles ceased to an end. Oh, well I don't know. Maybe you should look behind you, Luffy suggested. And Naruto did. He turned around and deadpanned at the sight of the crumbled and sliced stone statue of Axe Hand Morgan. My beautiful statue. Axe Hand turned around, looking at Naruto and Luffy, growling and gritting his teeth as he spat viciously. You. Damn. BAASTAARDSSS. Whoa. Why would you accuse us? Naruto gestured at Luffy and himself. For all we know, it could have been you destroying your statue of yourself to frame us. He snapped indignantly. But why would he do that? It seems like he would kick our asses, judging how he looks like right now, Luffy pointed out. You destroyed my statue. I'm gonna kill you, screamed Morgan, raising his axe hand, eager to chop them up and display their blood proudly on the ground. See? He looks like he's ready to eat us, Luffy dramatically proclaimed. I think he has his morals, at least some. And one of them is probably not to eat other people, Naruto said, blanching at the thought of Morgan actually eating them. Hello, honey, a voice from overhead called. Just a second later, a red blur shot down from the roof and landed in between the duo and Morgan. You've been a bad boy, Morgan. Taking paychecks without adhering to the Marine's laws? Now that's just naughty. I've been given orders to get rid of you, but they didn't say how. I've decided to kill you. The red-swathed man raised an odd-looking device that roared noisily. That looks awesome. What is that? Luffy looked admiringly at the contraption. It's a chainsaw, Luffy. You haven't seen one before? Naruto took a side glance at him, keeping the odd man in his main line of sight. Vice Admiral Grell. Wait, I can explain. Morgan tried to escape his death sentence. Why should I wait? I'm irritated because that stupid catboy is taking all of my dear Sebastian's attention away from me and I haven't killed anyone in a while, Grell said, though he lowered his chainsaw. Hey, we were going to fight him. Get your own target, Luffy whined. He was my target first. He's the whole reason I came to this island, other than to stalk Sebastian. But I want to fight. He hurt and terrorized the villagers. So did his jerk of a son. Ah, fine. But if you lose, I get to kill all of you. Okay. Hey, Morgan. Change of plans. If you can beat these two, I'll let you live, but you'll leave the Marines. If you lose and they don't kill you, I will. How's that? Morgan was relieved. He had a chance of living. It didn't matter if he was forced to leave his position in the Marines. Pirating suited him more anyways. Got it. Ah, and I was the one that broke that statue. It was so ugly. Morgan's face turned red, but he said nothing in fear of drawing negative attention to himself. Grell laughed and jumped to a high wall out of the way. Okay. Start fighting. I want to see some beautiful red blood. Paint the scene red. Naruto and Luffy poised in a fighting position, ready to jump out of the way of an attack. Naruto silently drew out a kunai, reminding himself that he shouldn't use his jutsus even if it would save time. Morgan took one look at the kunai and laughed, feeling confident that he would be able to kill the blondie. But the blondie seemed to read his mind. He scoffed. You shouldn't underestimate people, Morgie-chan. Morgan twitched in irritation. However, he continued. This kunai has killed many people back where I was from. This kunai can kill you. He wasn't going to stand this. His pride was on the line. He raised his axe hand and brought it down. Shing! He couldn't believe this. This monster easily deflected the attack with his kunai. No, it must be the kunai. It must be a magical kunai. It couldn't have been the brat. But the idea seemed so ridiculous it seemed impossible. Squelch! He looked down. He saw his own blood pooling around him. The blonde brat was back in his original position in a blink of an eye, only holding a bloody kunai as difference. See? I told you, Morgie-chan, Naruto teased. Morgan began to breathe heavily. He spoke in a strained voice, Brat, what did you do? But he simply smiled as he turned to Luffy, signaling to finish him off. He hummed in reply. He swept his right arm on his left arm outwards. Then there was 12 signs on his left arm. There's actually 13. One of them is just very faint, noted Naruto. I call upon the 12 stars. Come forth, Virgo. A flash of light. The sound of an earthquake. Beside Luffy stood a maiden with short pinkish-purple hair and turquoise eyes. She was petite and wore what a maid would wear, just shorter. And for some reason she had shackles around her wrists. Whoa, Luffy. Didn't know you were the kind of guy that would imprison a lady, exclaimed Naruto, obviously shocked. Virgo turned to the direction where Naruto was standing. I am Virgo, one of Luffy-sama's 12 zodiacs, she said monotonously, bowing. Naruto heard a sigh. It was Luffy. I told you to call me just Luffy. I'm not your master or anything, Luffy pouted. Who is that? Where did she come from? Morgan wheezed. I guess I should tell you that I poured poison on my kunai, Naruto revealed. He only got a growl in response. She already said who she is. You're not a very good listener, are you, Axie? Luffy pointed out. Morgan was tired. Tired enough to not care about the new nickname. Virgo, attack. Thanks for the fight, Morgan. It was fun. Luffy and Naruto gave a mocking salute as they turned and made their way back to the ship. Well, Morgan, it looks like I get to kill you after all. Grell's glasses flashed. The chainsaw caught a gleam of sunlight as it was swung down over Morgan's back. An arc of glimmering red drops flew through the air. Hiroki read the letter again. Hello. Over here, it's quite. Have you been? For now I've gotten used to the new environment and I'm doing well, but recently my longing to see you has been growing more and more intense. And I can't help but laugh a bit wryly at myself. I want to see you. I pondered why exactly I felt so discontent, and I realized that I don't feel any dissatisfaction about the classes at school here or the lifestyle. It's just the simple fact that I can't see you that's making me so insecure. But I haven't even brought myself within sight of your back yet. And I know that now isn't the time for complaining. I won't be mailing this letter now, but one day I would like to show it to you proudly, with dignity. And to reach that day I will keep working as hard as I can. I have to admit something. Before I left Japan, I snuck a picture of you while you slept. I look at it every day. It's my sole support. I really do love your face when you sleep. I'm sure I'd get a punch in the face if you found out, so I'll keep it a secret. I've almost reached the bottom of the page, so I guess I'll end this for today. I'll write to you again. Hiro-san, I miss you. 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 I love you. I really, truly love you. I miss you. Kusama Noaki. It soothed his hurt feelings of abandonment that he experienced for the year that Noaki had up and vanished. It relieved him that he was not cast to the side as he originally thought, but that Noaki had instead wished to join the Marines and needed the year of compulsory work to officially join the ranks. But in that 1 year, his friend Akihiko had visited his home island and witnessed his breakdown when he had thought Noaki had left him. Akihiko was part of the pirate crew of Marukawa Showdown, Emerald Division, and had invited Hiroki to join to distract him from his pain. Hiroki had accepted. Now, 2 years after Noaki had left, Noaki had tracked him down and explained his dreams and confusion of why Hiroki was not there when he returned. They had a conversation to clear away all misconceptions. Noaki had become a captain in the span of 2 years. Hiroki was the commander of Marukawa Showdown, Ruby Division. Both could not leave their stations, yet neither wanted to separate. They were stuck in a dilemma. Hiroki decided to take matters into his jurisdiction. Being a Marine was important for Noaki, and he didn't want to take that away from him, but he did not want to leave his crew either. He concluded that he must leave without alerting Noaki. Maybe later in the future one of them would turn sides, but for now they would be opposing each other. Each would be free to make his own choice without compulsion from the other. The next morning, Hiroki packed up the year's worth of written letters and disappeared with his crew. Koby felt weak. He was hidden behind a tree, but now Luffy and Naruto left before he could get his bearings back. How were they so strong? Naruto made it seem like it was nothing, but that was quite something. Devil fruits. Maybe Naruto ate one. Maybe his devil fruit is speed. Apparently Luffy ate one and it was something called zodiacs. What are they? What were those symbols on his left arm? He would like to ask Luffy, if it wasn't any trouble, of course. Koby took the girl's hand and escorted her back to town. The Marines were all either knocked out, killed, or in hiding, so they were not hindered on their way. After dropping her off at the restaurant, Koby walked to the cliffside, discouraged. If all Marines were like them, then he didn't want to be a Marine anymore. Koby felt his dreams crumble into dust, a sense of emptiness ironically filling the void left behind. He didn't know for how long he sat there, but eventually, he heard someone approach him from behind. He turned around and saw a kind-looking man in a Marine uniform smiling down at him. Who is that? Koby wondered. The benevolent man reached a hand down toward him in an offer to help him up. Koby took the large man's hand and stood. Hello. My name is Kusama Noaki. The man smiled gently. Why are you so sad? Koby sighed despondently. I wanted to be a Marine, but after seeing what they were like, I don't want to be one anymore. It was my life's dream. I heard about them and thought it would be cool, but reality is very different from beliefs. Noaki frowned ever so slightly. Well, you can't judge all of the Marines from just this islands. There are many Marines that protect the people from pirates and other unsavory criminals. The Marines here were under the control of a corrupt official. That's being changed now. Vice Admiral Grell has already gotten rid of ex-Captain Morgan. Not all pirates are bad, Koby protested, then, realizing his mistake, tried to retract what he said. Noaki laughed. Oh, I know that not all pirates are the evil, plundering thieves that most Marines think they are. My hero-san became one about a year and a half ago, though I guess that was my fault. I left without telling him where I was going and he got lonely and worried. His friend ended up asking him to join the Marukawa Showdown, and he got into the Emerald Division with him. Now he's the commander of the Ruby Division. I'm very proud of him. He spoke with a beaming grin, his eyes reflecting joy. We reunited just yesterday. He wasn't angry at me for leaving anymore. We made up, quite enthusiastically. Why did you join the Marines, Kusama-san? Koby asked curiously, his previous angst forgotten. Being a Marine was my dream, too. I wanted to make the world a safer place for my hero-san, and I thought this would be the best way to protect him. But he's a pirate now. Yes, it's become a slight problem in my original plans. I've already made a change to my plans to accommodate this. Hiro-san already left the island. I know he doesn't want to force me to do anything, like leave the Marines, so he took care of the problem temporarily by going away on his own. It won't work forever, though. Eventually, we'll meet again, hopefully soon. I need to see Hiro-san. He can have his fun being a pirate. I can protect him from within the Marines by changing the status of the Marukawa Showdown from hostile to friendly, but I'll need a higher rank before I can do that. So you're going to stay in the Marines, he'll still be a pirate, and that'll work out? Yes, hopefully. Hiro-san just needs to stay out of trouble for a while and I need to climb the ranks quickly. It's happened before with the Shuang pirates. They were supported by the Tweety. It only works if the pirates have a clear record, though, but I know that the Marukawa Showdown is clear. I already checked them. Then I can help Luffy, too. I want to be a good Marine. Noaki smiled encouragingly. Just remember, it won't be as easy as you think. Training is tough and you need to adhere to all of the rules. I can do it. I'll become a highly ranked officer and get rid of all of the corrupt Marines. I can make a change for the better. That's a noble goal, Koby. Good luck. Naruto stopped. He wondered. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Luffy, aren't we forgetting something? Naruto asked. No reply. Luffy? Naruto sighed. Just where did he go? That idiot. Well, better look for him now. Koby walked the path to the Marine's base with a confident stride. He would be a good Marine. He would protect the weak. He would make the Marines better as a whole. He entered the compound and was about to enter the building, but he noticed that the Marines not dead or comatose were lined up in the courtyard. A tall man was standing in front of them, facing them and giving what sounded like a lecture. Koby walked closer, the angle changing enough for him to see that it was Kusama-san. The man stopped mid-sentence and turned to him. It was Kusama-san, but he had an angry countenance from dealing with the Marines that broke the oath to protect people in favor of themselves. Kusama-san's livid glare disappeared once he saw who approached him. Ah, hello, Koby. I was reprimanding the Marines we talked about earlier. Unfortunately, it seems that all of them except about 3 followed Morgan willingly. I'm going to have to report them, send them to the higher-ups, and train new recruits for this island. Oh, would you like to join, Koby? You can be the first recruit. It's going to be a lot of work, especially now that nearly the whole base will have to be trained. Koby was now looking for Naruto and Luffy, as he had recently joined the Marines. He wanted to thank them for helping him escape from the fat prats and getting him to this island so that he could be a Marine. Where could Naruto and Luffy be? Well, knowing Luffy, he's always hungry. Off to the restaurant I go. So Koby made his way to the restaurant closest to the docks and entered the establishment. There he saw that Luffy was indeed eating his heart out. That Pop-Tart cat from before was there as well. It was a bit odd that Luffy was not aiming to eat it, but it was still alive, and there was a replenishing supply of already cooked meals set in front of him. That was probably it. Luffy? Where's Naruto? Koby questioned. MMMH ma rosh me shomer, mumbled Luffy. I'm right here. Naruto appeared behind Koby, startling him. So that's what I was forgetting. I forgot Koby from the Marine base. He doesn't look hurt. Thought Naruto, mentally smiling at the fact that his friend wasn't hurt. Ah, oh, Naruto. Yes, the almighty Naruto is here, he said dramatically, rolling his eyes. Luffy swallowed bowling ball-sized bolus, before pointing. Naruto's right there. Just how do you eat all that, Luffy? Naruto questioned, looking at Luffy as if he was a new specimen. Luffy stared at him blankly. Naruto sighed, never mind. Koby looked between the two as they were conversing. He mustered up his courage, and hoping that Naruto and Luffy wouldn't shun him for being a new recruited. I'm going to be AM Marine, Koby yelled as his voice slightly quivered. They stared at him with no expression, not of happiness, not of betrayal. He kept going. And I'm thankful that you both freed me, of Alvida. Koby realized that he was crying. He didn't even realize that he said, Alvida, out loud. They smiled. I guess this is where we say goodbye, huh? Naruto murmured softly, his eyes still as blue as ever, but had a tint of sadness left. Try your best. Just not enough to catch us along the way. Shishishi. Luffy's smile grew to an enormous grin. Koby didn't care that he was crying. He was just so happy, so glad. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, he said over and over. Creak. Alvida? You said Alvida? There stood Commander Ripper, a Marine they had never encountered, at the doorway. Koby stood frozen, unable to move. Then he stood straighter, more braver than he had been. Yes, I was held captive as a navigator in Alvida's crew, Koby said in his most serious Marine voice. I see. I'll have to report to Captain Kusama about this, Ripper said, turning to leave, but Noaki stood at the doorway, behind Ripper. Did someone call me? Captain Kusama asked. Hi, Captain Kusama. Apparently the soon-to-be recruit was part of Alvida's crew, he stated. Ah, I already knew that. I talked to Koby a little while earlier. He's kind in heart and has good intentions. His situation was circumstantial, he was forced into the crew. Oh. Yep, in fact, he's one of our newest recruits that I believe will go far, Noaki cheerfully informed. And with a bow, Commander Ripper left without saying anything. So, Koby, ready to start on the regime? Koby nodded. Noaki laid a heavy hand on Koby's shoulder and gave him a pat. Well, then, say bye to your friends. We'll go back to the base and I'll show you what to do. Hi. Koby turned to Naruto and Luffy, gave a small bow, and said his thanks again. I guess this is where we take our leave. Naruto smiled sappily, and they walked out. It wasn't even a few minutes before Koby ran out and started waving frantically at the retreating boat. Marines started appearing and saluted to the trio. Goodbye, Naruto. Goodbye, Luffy. Good luck on your journeys, may we meet again. At this time, Zoro stirred from his slumber from the boat's uncomfortable floor. Wah! Are those Marines saluting at us? Zoro stared disbelievingly at the dock. Yes. Yes, they are, nodded Naruto sagely. Ah, I'm hungry, Luffy shouted. The light died down. They saw a centaur who carried an elegant bow with a bowstring that would hum softly when pulled. He carried a quiver of arrows, which for some reason never ran out, and wore a green vest underneath. Yo, Sagittarius. Shoot me to that giant bird with your magical arrows, Luffy chimed idiotically. Yes. Sagittarius has magical arrows. Hi, he replied with a straight face. He swiftly grabbed an arrow. Wow, he has magical arrows? Naruto whistled. Then stretched out his palms. Unsurprisingly, it actually grew. No, it is surprising. Naruto thought. Big enough to stand on it like a log. Luffy hopped on and giggled. This is exciting. Luffy grinned. Sagittarius effortlessly grabbed the log-like arrow and pulled it back, lining it up with the bow. Zoro deadpanned at this. He let the arrow go. Who, she. Wah. Hey, I'm supposed to be doing all the catching, not you. Luffy glowered at the pink bird as he struggled to escape from its grip. I'm too tired and hungry to summon anyone else, at least right now, Luffy grumbled. All three on the boat deadpanned. Sagittarius sighed and dematerialized. Naruto gave an exasperated huff and stepped off of the ship and onto the water. I'll get him, he said in an annoyed tone. He ran in the direction of the bloody big bird that had no right to be that large in the east blue. That idiot Luffy, getting snatched by an overgrown bird. And he has the nerve to make me look for him. Oh sure. It's harder to use his powers while on unstable, ground, so he can't help himself. Doesn't mean he has to depend on me for something so stupid. How did he manage to get caught anyways? He saw it coming, literally. Naruto was so lost in his thoughts that he did not notice the bird suddenly veer to the right. Eventually, he calmed his mind and he resurfaced from his thoughts. Then he noticed that the bird was nowhere in sight. Where'd the bird go? He looked around in hopes of finding it. Well shoot. How did I lose something so big? It was going this way, so I should keep going, whatever. If not, I can just go back. What he did not take into account was that he was a bad navigator and that there would have been no landmarks, compasses, maps, or any other useful things to help him find his way anyways. So he just got himself more lost, heading toward an unknown destination. Now where is this? After wandering for 2 hours on the sea, he eventually reached an odd island that only had one mountain on it. The ground in the bottom third of the mountain was lush with green plants and large, blooming flowers. The top 2/3 was drastically different. A thick layer of snow and ice covered it. There was about 20 feet of uncovered ground in between the contrasting pieces of land. This looks out of place, like it belongs in the Grand Line. Naruto was aware of the oddities present in the marked ring of the world. He had heard the villagers and the occasional visiting pirates at the bar discussing the treacherous seas and islands that dotted it. Does the bird live on the peak? It's possible. I should go see. See what a good friend I am, Luffy. I'm going through the trouble of climbing a bloody huge mountain to find you. Mind made up, he ran to the shores and took the first step onto the leafy foliage, making his way deeper into the unknown forest and obliviously toward a unique tree. 6 hummingbirds, 8 1-foot-long praying mantises, and 2 rivers later, Naruto came across the distinctive tree near the base of the mountain. The tree had gnarled branches that slanted toward the ice at the top as if it was sunlight. The trunk and branches were a soft silver that glowed gently. The leaves were a darker silver that reflected colors at certain angles, giving the tree a generally spectral appearance. From a high branch hung a single fruit that looked to be the same as the leaves. Its rounded edges had numerous colors that changed as he walked toward the tree. As he approached, the bark shone more brightly as if in approval. He extended a hand to touch it and was surprised to find that it was somewhat fuzzy. Cautiously, he placed a foot on it and circulated chakra, and when it did not slide off, he began his walk to the canopy of its branches. Once there, he relocated the fruit and carefully walked to it, not wanting to shake it off the branch. Naruto plucked it once in safe reach and looked at it more closely. The mainly silver fruit looked to be composed of 5 thick strands that wove around each other in a spiral. A black swirling design was in the center of each strand. There were 5 colors: yellow, red, deep violet, light blue, and green. At the edges that changed when he turned the fruit. Could it be that I've found a devil's fruit? Naruto jumped down from the tree and continued to the mountain with the strange fruit held securely in his arms. He didn't see the tree silently disintegrate into tiny white particles, which were carried away by the wind, leaving behind no trace that there ever was a tree there before. He didn't come back after 2 whole hours. Now here I am, riding the ship towards the direction the bird went to. At least I think so, Zoro thought. He was left behind by Luffy, abducted by a pink bird, and Naruto. He ran on water, which left him thinking. Did they really just get abducted by a pink bird or run on water? Really? He snorted. They got Marines to salute them, so why not? After all, getting Marines to salute pirates is impossible. Well, maybe not to them. He sighed and continued onwards. The pressure was steadily increasing as he trod up the forbidding mountain, which was expected, but the amount in which it rose was staggering. He was short of breath by the time he reached the largest ledge, even with his considerable stamina. He flopped down onto the cold ground and closed his eyes. This chakra seems familiar. Wait. Chakra? Naruto snapped his eyes open. In front of his eyes was a hidden crevice that was not visible when he had been looking straight at it. From this angle, he could see the well-concealed entrance to a cave. The pressure seemed to be emanating from there. Curiosity piqued. He crawled into the empty space and stood when he was in no danger of banging his head on the ceiling. Wow! The whole cavern shone with ice crystals, glinting in the light that trickled in from an unknown source. Naruto turned his head in many directions as he walked deeper in. Then he looked up and saw a ridiculously huge ice dragon looking intently at him. Dear Inari. He jumped to the side, hoping to escape the dragon's lunge, and he closed his eyes, prepared for the crash and the scattering of ice shards that would follow, but after a full 5 seconds of nothing happening, he reopened his eyes and looked back at the dragon, which was not moving at all. What? Looking more closely, he could see that it was not alive. It did not move at all, even in the chest area, which should have risen and fallen with the rhythm of breathing. Geez, I must have looked stupid. He chuckled with relief at having avoided a dangerous conflict. Somewhere in the background, there was a faint laughter, though he disregarded it, labeling it as an echo, though it was a bit too high-pitched for his voice. Naruto continued his trek into the maze of frozen tunnels, still marveling at the glittering ice crystals. He kept his guard up, though, not having a wish to die an early death from being unprepared. An occasional dragon statue or figure was hidden along the walls or somehow sturdily attached to the ceiling. The dragons were obviously not natural and was made by someone with advanced skill. After a couple more minutes of mindless wandering, he reached the center of the complex, an enormous room that was exposed to the outside by an open ceiling. And in the center was a curled-up dragon. This one seemed different, mainly in the way that it had color and was breathing. It was alive. It had a very long gleaming white body that was nestled on a slightly elevated platform surrounded by stalagmites and stalactites of ice, some of which that connected to form hourglass-shaped pillars. 2 golden horns swept out from the head and it had 2 whiskers that seemed to float in the air as if it were water. The furry head resembled that of a canine, and the dragon had a turquoise mane that flowed from the head to the tip of its tufted tail. The dragon, sensing that there was an intruder, snorted and woke up, raising its head and aiming its gaze at him. "And who are you?" The dragon, a male by the sound of his voice, asked. "You're big," was what came out of his mouth. "Ah, sorry, that was rude." I'm Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. He gave a small bow in tradition. You shouldn't be here, the dragon growled. How did you find this place? An ear toward the entrance. My stupid friend got kidnapped by a bird and I thought it might have flown here. I'm looking for him. Your friend must be incredibly simple-minded to have been outwitted by a bird, the dragon deadpanned. As you can see, there is no bird here, now leave. Before any more could be said, the earlier laughter bubbled forth. Huh, so it wasn't an echo? I knew it. No, you didn't? The giggles got louder as the source approached the cavern in which the dragon and Naruto were talking, and just a few seconds later, a small child leapt out from behind a frosty boulder. The young boy was only about 3 feet 8 inches with white hair falling around his face and large teal eyes gleaming mischievously. A pair of delicate-appearing ice wings were furled at his back, occasionally opening and revealing them to be draconic. He wore a completely white outfit that looked to be too thin for the temperature in the cavern. He had a long ice tail that trailed behind him. Following him was a miniature serpentine ice dragon, which curled itself around his neck when he stopped. The boy gave another small giggle before he ran to the dragon. Haku! He shouted joyously. The child leapt onto his back with a surprising amount of grace and hugged the dragon around the neck as much as he could, burrowing his head into the turquoise fur that lined down his back. Haku took me outside and we saw that guy running on water coming here and I asked him if he would teach me how to do that and he said he would if I came back inside and told you so now he has to teach me and we're gonna have a lot of fun and eat watermelon cuz it's been a while since we had it and I want some and. Okay. You're talking too much. No offense, little Hitsu, the dragon. Haku, apparently, added after he put thought into it. Will you watch me? The child asked. Haku nodded. Of course I will. I need to make sure you don't get hurt, don't I? The boy laughed again. Yes? Naruto watched this all with an are you serious gaze. What is this? A child and a dragon talking so nonchalantly, and the dragon's name is Haku, and there's another Haku, like. He jolted in realization. Then that chakra was. And from behind the same boulder that the child had appeared from just a minute ago walked Haku, the ninja from the mist that supposedly died about 3 years ago. Hello, Naruto-kun. How have you been? Hey, Mr. Bird, can you let me go now? Luffy whined. The bastard bird didn't acknowledge him with so much as a glance. Naruto's gonna get angry with me if I'm gone for too long. Again he was ignored. Hey, you stupid bird. Let go. He clawed at the bird's scaled talons, and when that was proved ineffective, he reached up and crudely tore out handfuls of feathers. The bastard bird screeched in surprise and pain and abruptly let go of its troublesome package, sneeze. Now, while being freed was what he was aiming for, he would have preferred it to have been on the ground, where he did not have a chance of being thrown into the ocean to his watery grave. Luckily, Luffy was dropped over an island, so he successfully avoided death and got his wish to escape the annoying bird. Luffy opened his clenched fists as he fell, making a feathery trail as he plummeted to the ground. The ground was approaching startlingly fast and he had no way of slowing down, so instead of drowning, he would become a beautiful splotch of red dashed along the dirt roads. Go away, Grell. Then again, he could just use one of his Zodiac's powers, though it was much harder to, what with all of the wind resistance pulling his limbs in the wrong directions and being unable to see with rapidly drying eyes whenever he tried to open them. By memory, he located the seal of Gemini and unlocked it. I call upon the 12 stars, come forth, Gemini. The silver-haired twins in matching blue robes materialized on either side of Luffy, falling at the same rate as him. Nay, so what are you doing? Sogyo, the one on his left, asked. You're going to die if you keep falling, you know, Katowari continued. I know. That's why I called you. Can you help me? Luffy requested. Knowing that they'd ask for something, he added, I'll give you each a bag of candy if you do. Really? Sogyo asked. Really? Katowari echoed. Yes, Luffy replied. Okay. The twins exclaimed in unison. Each grabbed an arm and gradually decreased the rate of falling by activating their floating ability. Too fast and they would have popped out Luffy's arms. They managed to completely halt the fall when they reached 6 feet above ground. They abruptly let go, judging the distance to be safe. Luffy was prepared for this, so he was able to land nimbly on his feet. Thanks, I'll call you again when I have your reward. The twins cheerfully laughed and disappeared in a shimmer of light. Alright. Now where am I? Luffy looked at his surroundings. Not too far from him were a group of men and a woman that seemed to be running away from them. The orange-haired woman sharply turned away from the men and ran to him. Hello, boss. I'll let you take care of this. Then the woman fled the scene. Luffy was confused. Boss? Oi, does that mean you're part of my crew? After beating up the men that for some reason chose to attack him, the woman reappeared. Good job. I wasn't sure that I would be able to escape this time. My name is Nami. Say, do you want to partner with me? We can bring in a lot of bellies if we work together, she inquired. No, Luffy immediately denied. What? Why? You could be rich. I don't care about money. I'm gonna be the Pirate King. That's my only goal, he enthusiastically said. The Pirate King? A kid like you? You'll need a lot of strong crew members to achieve that. Who do you have so far? I don't see anyone around. Nami looked at him doubtfully and in disgust. Ah, right now I have Naruto and Zoro. I'm gonna make a lot more friends and we'll go to the Grand Line together. The Grand Line? Do you know how dangerous that place is? I doubt you'll make it there, and even if you did, how would you manage without being able to navigate? Maybe if I had a map of the Grand Line I could get to the Grand Line. Nami snorted. That doesn't make sense. You need the skills to navigate and have a map leading to the Grand Line. Besides, I have the map of the Grand Line. Oh, are you a navigator? Luffy asked her curiously. She grinned. Yup, and an extremely skilled one at that. Ooh. Join my crew. No way. Join my crew. No, pirates are disgusting and cruel. Oh, I'm cruel. Meh. Come on, join. Nami was about to refuse when an idea bloomed in her mischievous mind. I'll think about it on one condition. She was doubting that he would fall for it because anyone would be able to tay. Alright. I have a chance to make her join, what's the condition? Nami smirked, but on the inside she deadpanned. She quickly tied a splintery rope around him and then trailing down to his hands to tie them together. She held the excess rope and shoved him out the door. MMH. What's this? Luffy asked innocently. Nothing. Just part of my condition. Nami said as she grinned. He shrugged it off and they continued on their ways. Ma. Why am I in a cage? Luffy didn't understand. He was doing what the possible soon-to-be for sure navigator told him to do, smiling mischievously until they reached the circus tents. She rambled on to a menacing-looking clown, saying words like, idiot, boss, stupid, or tired of him. He didn't understand this part either. The big red-nosed clown snorted with laughter, clearly amused. Did insulting him seem amusing to Clown? He rambled on, continuing the conversation with orange hair. Then he was thrown in this cage, leading to his wandering thoughts. Shut up. Kakakakaka. Snickered one of its got to be a tomato not a real nose clown's minions. Guys. Prepare the buggy ball. Cackled Bugsy. That was his name, right? Meh. He'd go with it, menacingly. His minions howled with laughter, quieting down when a baldy brought the ball of DOOM. The buggy ball? Nami inquired, pausing her conversation to Buggy. Ooh. Is it a food? They just kept on laughing, and the bald kid with the party hat slipped the buggy ball into the cannon. Tomato Nose laughed and grabbed a match, lighting it one fire. Suspense. The rope connected to the cannon sparked, slowly burning it to the cannon's origin of destruction. Done. Done. Dune, Ka Biwoosh. Rows and rows of houses were destroyed, leaving splinters of doom and pain. So bright. And that is so not a food. Luffy pouted in his mind, making his face blank. Nami. Buggers called out her name. Why yes? A wide creepy smile was etched on his face. Blow him up. Blow him up. These people are crazy. Nami yelled in her mind, panicking. She did not plan to blow up an innocent kid. The kid sat there, face blank. Huh, look at that stupid kid. I bet he's shaking with fear. Yeah, I can't believe Miss Beautiful Nami worked under a child. She wouldn't hesitate. Light the cannon. Light the cannon. Nami, light the cannon. Bugley smiled, his menacing eyes so scary, his mouth painted with tomatoes, and his nose still big, like a tomato. I can't do this. If I do, I wouldn't be better than pirates, Nami thought defiantly. But the kid smiled. Smiled like nothing's wrong. You should have been prepared. What? You should have prepared yourself when facing an opponent. A pirate. You should have been prepared to do what a pirate does. What? I really am the only sane one. Oh, come on, don't leave us waiting. A weirdo grabbed the box of matches and lit the rope. She grasped the staff that was hid under her clothes and utterly crushed the man's skull in panic. Then she grasped the rope and tried putting the spark out with her hands. Kaya. I will not stoop to their levels. I have to put this fire out. Nami, what is this? Sorry, I just got excited. He snarled. I wanted to be the one to light the cannon? You had your chance. You traitor, now you die. Men, attack. I'm gonna die when I'm trying to save a kid from being blown up. Nami screamed within her mind. Raw. They approached swiftly. Gaw. Then they fell. Blood. Luffy grinned. Zoro. My captain is crazy. Craziness and trouble now thinks he is an interesting toy. Zoro sighed inside his mind. Here he was, slashing at idiots in less than 3 seconds. Zoro. He grunted. There was his idiot captain. I finally managed to find you. You idiot. How did you get abducted by a pink bird? A pink bird. And it wasn't even a flamingo. Pink? Nami questioned herself. Hey, it looked tasty. Didn't Naruto find you yet? Zoro looked around expecting a blonde laughing behind a corner, thinking Luffy looked ridiculous in a cage. I thought he'd be with you, Zoro. Luffy, why's there a big? The men on the ground jumped up and gasped. Buggers stiffened. Red. Many men fainted. Booger snarled. Tomato on that, clown? Zoro asked dramatically. Buggy lunged without a warning. How dare you, my nose is normal. Wah. I meant the clown behind you, and you have a big, red nose, too. Rah. Boobly grabbed a dagger and attempted to stab Zoro. Shing. Buggo fell on the roof of the house. His crew snickered. Then Zoro was stabbed. Wah. What the? Zoro gasped was grabbed his injury to try and stop the bleeding. Behind him, Bugly formed back together and grinned evilly. I ate the bara no mi. He's a monster, said Luffy, shocked. One of Sagittarius's arrows materialized and pointed at him with a sign saying that he ate a devil fruit, too. And I, Buggy the Star Clown of the Buggy Pirates. Oh, so he was named Buggy? Luffy gasped. A vein popped. Defeated Roronoa Zoro. Then he laughed maniacally. You're a coward. A clown, with a big, Burgie shook with fury. Red. Bluggy began panting, trying to contain his fury, thinking that he'll kill the kid later after he gloats more about D. Nose. Exclaimed Luffy. What the hell? That's the worst thing you can say to him, Nami thought, panicking, thinking that Buggy would slaughter everyone, friend or foe. I will kill you, slowly. The clown threw the dagger that stabbed Zoro at Luffy, who ducked casually. You throwing knives? Zoro. Luffy nodded at Zoro, glancing at the cannon. It's a dagger. Wah. I told you that swords don't hurt me, Roronoa Zoro. Shahaha. Buggy laughed as he saw Zoro raised his swords. Shing. Why did he slice me through my stomach if he knows that it doesn't do anything? Buggy thought strategically. Zoro leapt. Boobly tensed, expecting Zoro to try and cut him again, but instead he jumped through him. He sprinted towards the cannon, lifting it up slowly. TCH. It's bothersome to lift things when you get stabbed. Oi. What are you doing? Zoro flipped it over in a few seconds after his thoughts. Light it. Zoro commanded to Nami. She struggled to light a match, but managed to do it. What? No, don't, bewoosh, ma, that was close, Luffy sighed. Nami, Zoro, and Luffy all escaped, but Zoro had to carry Luffy's cage despite the fact that he was stabbed. You guys are crazy. Nami screamed at them, thinking that it would relieve her anger and shock. It didn't. She sighed. Here. Nami threw a gold-colored key at Luffy, who caught it expertly. Ooh. Is this the key to the cage? Yes, woo. They came across a small white dog sitting in front of a shop for pet supplies, guarding it intently. Ooh, How interesting, cute little doggy. Luffy reached a hand out through the cage, with the key in hand, intending to pet it on the head. The dog just stared at him, and when he was within touching distance, it suddenly jumped up and latched onto his hand with its tiny teeth. Luffy stared at the dog. The dog stared back. This went on for 3 minutes before Luffy noticed that the dog had torn open his hand, and was still attached to it. Ow. OWWW. Ow. Luffy finally screamed. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. He yelped as he swung his arm frantically in an attempt to dislodge the dog from its hold. The dog growled a little, then relinquished its grip, flying away a little bit from the force of Luffy's swings but managing to land on its feet. As soon as the dog was no longer attached to his hand, Luffy stopped his panic. Then he knelt in front of the dog. Hey, you're like a cat, you know that? You landed on your feet, that's amazing. Where's the key? Unfortunately, the dog took this as an insult and latched onto his face. How did he lose the key already? Cue the panic scene again. Don't hurt Chowchow, you bastards. Luffy blinked as a voice cried out while he tried to fling the small, aggressive dog off his bleeding hand. I'm the one being hurt, not the evil demon dog. Luffy thought irritably as he struggled to pull the dog off. Chowchow jumped off as the source of the voice neared the group. Luffy sighed in relief as the evil dog let go of his hand. The one that yelled out was an old man wearing a scowl, though Nami was surprised that the old guy wasn't wearing the look of confusion and shock at their appearance. Rough. The old man smiled at the dog, seeing as there was no harm done to him. Wait, no harm? The aged man scowled. My eyesight is going deteriorating. The grandly old person looked at the trio of people. He blinked, then squinted. He saw a blurry blob of red on the raven-haired boy. Is that Buggy's nose? He heard a snort, a loud laugh, and a giggle. He raised an eyebrow at the strange combination of two blurry colors, green and orange, and Buggy's deformed nose. What? He asked, raising the other eyebrow at the sounds of amusement. It's just that isn't Buggy's nose, Nami giggled after telling the old man. It's blood from Chowchow, is it? He tensed. Chowchow's attack on him over there. It's his blood, not Chowchow. His gaze switched from the girl to him. After squinting and rubbing his eyes at him, he finally realized why he couldn't see well. Why are you glaring at me? I swear I didn't do anything to the evil demon dog. It was all him. Luffy explained hurriedly and anticipated an expression from the old man. He promptly ignored him. Oh, I left my glasses in my pocket after they fell, running here when I heard voices talking about a dog, he thought as he remembered his reason. He quickly put them on, adjusting its position on his face first before speaking to the trio. Oh, sorry about that. I'm Boodle and the mayor of this town. Town? This sure looks like a town, but there are no folks here. Luffy snuck a look around but everyone ignored him. That's okay, unless you want to pay us, me, to truly forgive you, Nami said half-heartedly. She really didn't mean it, but hey, she needed the money. Zoro groaned in pain as he leaned against the wall of the building. Somehow, he was promptly ignored. Boodle frowned. My people need the all money we can get to receive supplies from other repair our town. Well, that's noble of you, Nami commented, but where is your army? You can't defeat Buggy alone. If Mossy Head over there got hurt, then you wouldn't even be a threat to Buggy. Hey, I was ambushed and caught surprised. I didn't know he ate the bara no mi. Zoro stifled a groan as he was attacked by a sudden wave of pain. The old mayor's gaze shifted from the young woman to Mossy Head. He blinked in surprise and looked concerned. What happened to him? He's bleeding heavily, the elder exclaimed as he analyzed Mossy Head's wounds. He should be treated, not clenching his teeth in pain. So he lead them into the building, leaving Chowchow to guard the pet shop. Okay, so how did this happen? Luffy thought to himself. We were talking. The evil demon dog isn't so evil. Zoro was snoring. Then bam, giant green lion comes in. Then I kicked their butts. Okay. You pirates are terrible. Beneath trash, Luffy heard Nami scream. While very confused, Luffy turned his back from Nami's rage and set down the remaining dog food he managed to save in front of Chowchow. Here, this is all I could save. It's important, right? I wonder if it tastes good for dogs. Luffy pondered then said hurriedly, Well, not that I would eat it but, oh, but I'm not saying that it's disgusting. RRGH. Forget it. I saved dog food. With that, Luffy Gomu Gomu no, Bazooka, ed himself towards where Boodle stormed off to. Most likely to Buggy. He saw how angry he was. That anger is dangerous. Bam. The anger is extinguished when he unconscious on the floor. Luffy smacked Boodle away from Buggy and his head comically slapped the wall that was conveniently there, on the left of Boodle. Why the hell did you do that? Nami screeched, panicking over the mayor, wondering if the townspeople would jump out from behind a wall and lash at them if they saw their precious mayor on the ground. Zoro and Luffy looked at her weirdly, as if the answer was obvious. He would have gotten in the way, they both said monotonously. Nami looked upward, thinking how she has gotten into this mess, with two idiotic people. Come on. Don't ignore me. Buggy threw two knives furiously, glaring at them in blinding rage. Zoro tensed and unsheathed one of his swords. With a quick swing of his arm, the knives were blocked and fell to the floor, useless without a wielder. Buggles growled, challenging them to dare attack him. Suddenly, Luffy jumped up high into the air and said. Luffy landed gently on top of the fluffy stuff. Just because of the fluffy stuff doesn't mean that you're gonna win, snarled Buggy. Then Luffy threw the punch and quickly backflipped away from Buggy. Ow. Arg. Bara bara ho. Buggy gritted his teeth as he shot his hands towards Luffy. Luffy parried the attack using his forearm and then yelled, Is that the best you can do, Buggles? A vein popped in Buggy's forehead. My name is Buggy, Buggy. I tell you. He swiped an arm towards Luffy, aiming to strangle him in comical anger. What did you say? Was it Big Nose? From the bottom of the building, Nami asked incredulously, Why, is there a reason for the fluffy fur? Zoro stared hard at the fluff before it popped from existence. It's obviously to land on, he snorted. Nami sighed and shook her head. That's true, but couldn't he had just jumped lower and lighter rather than jumping needlessly high? Haku? Is that you? What are you doing here? I thought you died? Haku raised a hand to stop Naruto's intelligible stream of words. I know this is a surprise to you. My story will take a while to explain, so let's settle down first. There's no point in standing around here when we can be more comfortable. Haku gestured for Naruto to follow him to the pedestal that Harem rested on and sat onto the ledge. Naruto cautiously did the same. The dragon, Haku, looked toward Hitsugaya, who was still playing on the boulder, though a bit uncoordinated. Child, come sleep. You must be tired from running around outside. It's time for your nap, Haku's deep voice rumbled gently. Hitsugaya yawned quietly and glided to the large dragon without protest, settling between his sharp claws and his chest. The small child pressed close to the comfort and quickly fell asleep. Haku, the ninja, then started his tale. Technically, I did die. In that world, I am dead. Deceased. The only reason I am here is because Harem called me as I was about to be reabsorbed back into the lifestream. If you truly want to understand my story, I'll have to divulge a bit of Hitsu's. Haku took a glance at the white-haired boy contentedly snoozing with the dragon. That boy is a Shinigami, a being who governs the dead. Harem is his partner. In his early childhood, he grew up with the regular souls in the afterlife, and none of the other Shinigami were aware of him. Now, a Shinigami comes about when a soul has abnormally strong spiritual pressure. Hitsu here had much more than the norm. Back then, he was much too young to be able to access his powers, so he lived undetected. He sighed tiredly. His early life wasn't all that happy. The normal souls, after being near him for years, picked up that he was different, and his appearances separated him from them even more. The adults generally avoided him, but the children were not kind. Sometimes, they would make a game of throwing things at him as he passed by, even though he never did anything bad to him. Hitsu grew up, feeling isolated. As more time passed, his power leaked out in larger amounts, and after a sufficient amount of time, it was enough to awaken Harem. The smaller dragon that had been curled around Hitsugaya's neck uncurled himself and fluttered to the ground when he heard his name. He locked eyes with Naruto and took over the story. My master was suffering from the souls that he was meant to protect. If he were to stay, there was a chance he would have grown to resent them. That cannot happen. Besides, it is wrong that they believe they may do whatever they wish to people that appear to have no power. So I spirited him to this world, where he could grow free from pain and abuse. Here he can gain strength to repel those that wish him harm. When he is strong enough, I plan to take him back to his true place and see if they have changed, though there was much more wrong than just those despicable villagers. The Soul Society and the governing body has become corrupt. I would prefer that Toshiro not be forced to step in, but if he must, I will allow it. Naruto stared in shock at the tiny dragon with the deep voice, wondering how that was possible. Then he shook off his surprise and asked, "Why would you place such a responsibility on him? He is still so young." The ice dragon snorted, a tiny cloud of cold air snuffling out in a fog. "I do it because I must. It is his duty to maintain balance. The Soul King himself gave him the task millennia ago. He is the heavenly guardian. But that doesn't mean that I can't take matters into my own hands when I deem it fit." Hitsu is still unaware of his destiny. The large, silver-teal dragon cut into the conversation. Hirenmaru linked into a connection with me when he was searching for an asylum. I invited him here to raise the child. After all, even if he is from the Kingdom of Ice, he is also a part of the Kingdom of Dragons. "Ah, so then how did you end up here?" Naruto questioned curiously. Haku shook out his mane, cautious not to dislodge the sleeping child. "My mate and our child are currently visiting her place of origin. Afterwards, she will be leaving that world to settle here with me. We want to raise our child away from the spirit world. My family will be coming here soon. Besides, there is more territory here to stake claim to. In my home world, I was given only a small river, which is now dried up and covered by a human settlement. I can lay claim to all of the waters here as there are no other protection spirits that reside in this world." So Haku, the dragon, came here first and later called Hirenmaru, who brought Hitsu. So how does Haku tie into all of this? Haku smiled. "Well, as I told you a bit before, Hirenmaru sensed my death and reviewed my life records. My life was far from fulfilling and entrenched in tragedy, so he pulled my soul from its path to be either reincarnated or destroyed. He gave me a second chance in this world, but I am unable to go back to our original because that would break the laws of nature, and even a Shinigami should not do that, not even the Heavenly Guardian. I'm not sure if the Soul King has the power to do that, though." Naruto nodded in understanding. "So why are you still here? Don't you have freedom to go wherever you want?" "Yes, but I really felt no motivation to. I have accepted Zabuza's death, but I had no other purpose to live other than for him. I have not found a new goal yet, so I thought I may as well keep Hitsu company. He needs human interaction, even if Hirenmaru doesn't think so." Haku fondly gazed at the aforementioned boy. "So what is Naruto-kun doing here?" Naruto's eyes turned dark. "Konoha was not as great as I thought it to be. I made some great friends there, but the majority still refused to accept that I am not the Kyuubi. They were close to killing me, but somehow I ended up warping from a death battle to meeting an airheaded idiot." He laughed a bit. "Yeah, Luffy may not be the smartest, but he's very loyal and kind. Hey, would you like to meet him? I think you'd like each other. He's a friendly guy," Naruto said earnestly. Haku returned a gentle smile. "I'd like that, Naruto-kun." And so, Haku and Naruto left the cavern to search their way back to Luffy, leaving behind the two dragons and the sleeping child unaware of the heavy burden he would have to face in the future. "Raw! I'll kill you," Buggy howled in anger as Luffy laughed again. Big nose, big nose, big nose, bignose, bignose, bignose. Luffy jumped expertly to dodge the attacks, which were full of the intent to kill. Shishishi. You at aiming. Whoa. Luffy was startled by Buggy when he shot his hands after Luffy and stabbed his straw hat instead. "My hat. Grr. This hat looks too familiar, it reminds me of that bastard." Buggy raised his dagger and was about to stab it, but then, "Stop. That's my treasure," Luffy yelled. "Treasure? Don't make me laugh," Buggy growled, "especially if it reminds me of that guy." "Who's that guy?" Luffy asked. "What? Where?" Buggy looked around. "No, the guy you were talking about," Luffy sighed. He mentally rolled his eyes at this guy. "Really? He's so gullible." Buggy growled. "Oh, that guy." And so, Buggy told the tale of amazing unicorns fairies and how the purple unicorn transformed into a guy with red hair, not Buggy simply told Luffy about how he was a pirate on Gold D. Rogers' pirate ship. Whoa. You were part of his pirate crew? Wanna join mine? No. And how he stole a map from a pirate who infiltrated their pirate ship. And later the crew found a devil fruit, a real one. It's the one I have, Buggy said proudly. Luffy looked at him blankly. Okay, so when he planned to, I dunno, sell the fruit? Buggy racked his mind to remember. Nope, I don't remember. Probably to sell it. Stop interrupting, I am telling a story. Actually, I'm the one telling the story. Buggy rolled his eyes. Sell the freakin' thing. Shanks popped out of nowhere and... Pooped out of nowhere. You typed, pooped, initially. Luffy laughed then stopped abruptly. Wait, Shanks? Red-haired Shanks? Yes. Buggy growled, how he hid the fruit in his mouth. He quickly recovered and smoothly lied. But then he came back, pop. Just like that. And then he was forced to swallow it. And his secret plan to find the treasure of the map was ruined. Just ruined. Then he hated him forever. The end. Buggy said quietly. I see, so you guys became friends? No, I just said how I hated him forever. So, does that mean you don't hate him right now? No, so. And poor Buggy had to deal with this a while. The end. Now we will see you in the next video.